Susan Abulhawa. Welcome to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and to the Indiana Center for Middle East Peace.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for hosting me.
You write in the foreword of your book on poetry, Voice Sought the Wind, that, quote, Arabic had been stolen from my tongue, but that you, quote, found new words to put to the language inside you. That you, quote, only wrote when you were in love or in pain, which were often one and the same. Talk about your life as an author, a poet, a weaver of words, a Palestinian American.
So the idea of my mother tongue sort of being pilfered is probably one of the great wounds of my life. I came here when I was 13, and when I was a child, I used to write Arabic poetry. I mean, I remember very early on, like first grade, writing poetry and being in love with poetry. And when I came here, I was desperate to fit in. I was this sort of, suddenly an 8th grader thrust into this American milieu in middle school, and I came from an all-girls orphanage in Jerusalem, and suddenly I was with American teenagers, and all I wanted to do was fit in and learn to read and write English, which I really couldn't do except on a 1st or 2nd grade level.
Is that what you meant when you used the word pilfered?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
was trying to picture what normally so that's how you felt like the language was stolen from you, or
yeah, just sort of little bit by bit. It's without realizing it. One day you wake up and you're like, wait, I'm going back overseas and speaking, and suddenly realizing that it's not in my brain the same way it used to be, and it's not so easy on my tongue anymore, and the words come out wrinkled and knotted up, and you realize that, wow, this is the price. This was one of the tolls that exile takes, and you don't realize it, But I did gain a command of English, and being a lover of language in general. I could fall in love with language in another way. But interestingly, I still, when it comes to literary endeavors, I still think with an Arabic foundation. So literature in Arabic tends to be very flowery and ornate, especially poetry, and that has been for centuries the principal literary tradition in Arabic. The novel is a relatively new form of literature in Arabic, so I still kind of have that foundation, and I think it came out more so with Mornings in Jenin than my subsequent books. Mornings in Jenin was a lot more verbose and flowery, and
lyrical almost.
Well, I've been told lyrical too, and then a little less so with The Blue Between Sky and Water, and a little less so now with the new book that's coming out called Against the Loveless World. But that really all comes from my literary foundation in Arabic, if that makes sense. Even though the language itself has is gone for the most part. Although I have been slowly getting it back and gaining more confidence with it. I'm reading more Arabic literature and trying to regain or gain for the first time a more sophisticated command. I mean, thankfully, I was literate in Arabic when I came here, and so I still have the Arabic foundation that I can build on. Yeah.
It's almost a regaining of a culture not just a language, but an entire culture that's being threatened?
So the culture is, it sort of lives in us in a lot of ways. And at the same time, one of the features of exile is that it's kind of like what Edward Said described as being out of place.
Yeah.
Perpetually and forever, you're out of place. I don't quite belong there. I don't quite belong here. There's no place that you are fully a part of. You're always straddling multiple worlds, and they're oftentimes worlds that are in conflict with each other. And there's a love and a loyalty to each one in very different ways. And a love and a loyalty to the language of each one and to the traditions of each one, and which sometimes, again, are in conflict with each other. And that's one place, it's one of the powers of literature, is that you can, literature provides a ground where you can lay all these contradictions in one place and try and make sense of it, or sort it out, or never make sense of it, but at least be able to create a human picture of things that may seem abstract and contradictory and irreconcilable.